problems with the authenticity and integrity that you have as an actor. But if you're establishing something for the long haul, I imagine it was very much an organic collaboration between you and the creative participants on the series.
But you would go to them with ideas, right? Didn't you?
Sometimes,
yeah.
yeah. Sometimes.
I remember you would go up to them.
Yeah.
Walk upstairs.
Walk upstairs.
Walk upstairs with
Yes.
some ideas.
Yes.
Sometimes they listen, sometimes
They do.
it was a no.
Yes.
No, we don't like that idea.
Yes.
We're not doing that.
Was there any idea you had that they did use that you feature?
Well, like I said, the relationship between Oliver Queen and Chloe Sullivan.
But didn't you go with about the healing powers? Didn't you suggest
Yeah,
that?
I did actually. That's
Yes.
true. I didn't think
All right,
about
she
that.
forgot that.
I did. I forgot.
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah, I did. I said they asked me what kind of powers they thought that Chloe would have, and I said, well, she's a healer. And so then I came up with that superpower. I don't know if you guys remember where I would cry and my tear would heal, or I can touch somebody and I can heal them. And then actually it was my idea for it to be like cancerous. So like every time I took somebody's pain on, it killed me a little. And the stronger the pain or the stronger the disorder that they were struggling with, the more they would destroy me. Which is why I ended up, it killed me when I saved Lois, because Lois was dead, and I brought her back to life.
When was that?
You were already dead.
It was a flood. Where they had to heat you up in Christine's shower.
Oh, that's when I almost...
That. It was the same flood.
Okay, I
I was
wasn't
drowned
there.
in the flood. And I cried.
I remember.
Went back to life.
I have a question for John and a question for Julian. John,
Yes.
what did you think of your role in Gremlins 2?
I had a great time with the Gremlins. I fell in love with a couple of them, actually. I just tweeted one of them, actually. I don't tweet, no, I'm not. We haven't kept in touch. But I had a great time on the movie. It's a fun movie. It's a better satire than they said. It didn't get very good reviews, but it's a fun movie. I had a great time.
Julian, what do you think of your role in Arachnophobia?
Well, I enjoyed Arachnophobia. For one thing, we filmed in the Venezuelan jungles, and on the Lost World, the Tepuis, they're called, these flat-top plateaus in the jungle. It was an extraordinary experience to be able to take helicopters and land on those things for the location. I don't have arachnophobia. I'm intrigued by spiders, so I felt a natural affinity with the creatures. But I was astonished by how many people do have arachnophobia, who really found it extraordinary that I could be comfortable with these creatures. I enjoyed my character. I wish he hadn't been killed off in the battle. Such is the way. But I enjoyed my role. I enjoyed the film. I hope you did. Since you asked for that.
All right, how y'all doing up there?
Good.
This is actually my first Dragoncon event. My mind is blown right now. I would like to say that you guys did an awesome job on Smallville. To be around for 10 seasons as a superhero show, that's something that's really amazing. And I think you blaze trails for shows like Arrow now.
Yes.
I think you guys did a really good job. What I'd like to know is, what was your favorite moments, or a single moment, as your character on that show? Because I think you guys had a lot of versatility. You guys got to play a lot of different roles on the show. So what was one thing that stood out to your mind as your character?
I liked playing Brainiac. That was really fun when I got infected by Brainiac, and I got to be like super dark and beat up Clark and stuff. That was cool.
I liked courting Clark's mother. And we have remained friends. She's... I beg your pardon? Yes, we are special friends. I'm very close to Annette and her husband. Annette's amazing. She's Michael's doing a play now in Boston, and Annette just finished doing a couple of plays in New York. And they're so in love. And music is their bond. They wrote that song to the Chris Guest movie about the country singer.
A Mighty Wind.
A Mighty Wind. Yeah, they wrote the title song to that, and were nominated for an Academy Award together. FYI.
I was going to say when I played Brainiac as well. Really? Yeah.
Did you play Brainiac?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I did.
Early Alzheimer's.
Or I was just...
I didn't have Brainiac, and I didn't wear the sawn-off blue jeans. I loved handling the blue crystals.
Yes.
That was for me the essence of Jor-El, to be on Krypton and handling those blue crystals, the blue crystal. It was magical, and even though it was a set and it was the crystal itself was a cast resin, there was something quite charged, electric about the moment for me as a person, not just as an actor. So I believe.
Well, first off, hey, Alex.
Hey.
This is actually for everybody. Other than Tom, who is your favorite actor personally?
Chris Reeves.
Chris Reeve.
Chris Reeve.
Hi guys. Question for Laura and Julian, and I'm wondering, you guys played characters that have deep roots in the Superman mythology. So how do you guys come to getting the role and trying to figure out how to put your own stamp on characters that people kind of know fairly well already? And I mean, Julian, you played somebody that was played by Marlon Brando, for heaven's sake. So, like, how do you create your own?
By who?
Some unknown guy named Brando, so.
I actually, I didn't know who Supergirl was when I auditioned, and I know that's horrible to say, but I wasn't aware. I thought maybe his sister or his girlfriend, no idea. So I did some research and was intrigued and watched Helen Slater's version from the 80s, and then sort of took a bit from that, spoke to the writers. I was petrified to come onto this set. These guys have been together for 7 years, and I'm the newbie. So I sort of used that because Supergirl was new on Earth, and I was new on the set. And I sort of played into that nervousness and using the bravado of being a brat to cover up, how she was truly feeling, which is missing home and wanting to belong. And I was missing Toronto and wanting my family. So I sort of just discovered her as I went. They weren't really strict on how I should play her, and I wanted to make people happy. I wanted to make her strong and independent, and a woman that could stand up for herself. So because I was playing such a young girl, it was really her trying to find that strong, independent woman. And then we had Helen Slater on the show, which again, petrified me. A lot of things scare me, apparently. And she was great. She had some wonderful advice for me, and I loved working with her, and she sort of gave me the accepting nod that I was now playing Supergirl, and there was 2 of us in the world, and it was fantastic. So I think we all just sort of tried to keep the essence of the character, especially when it's a superhero, but make it your own. You know, you have to, otherwise you're just watching the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I was, I can't remember where I was, but I was asked to play Jor-El. I didn't have to meet anybody or talk to. And in a sense, that gives you much more confidence and much more autonomy. When you're asked to do something, it means that they really want you to do it, as opposed to having to convince them in a meeting or an audition. I mean, in general. And of course, you know, I was aware of and had seen Marlon Brando's performance. And I think as a younger actor, you sometimes feel you have to do a lot of acting. You have to sort of create funny faces and funny voices to be a character. And but as I was a little more mature and a little more experienced when I was asked to play Jor-El, I trusted the reasons they had for asking me, and I liked the writing. And the words I used earlier, you find the truth of the character in yourself and try and bring it to the performance with authenticity, dignity, strength, and sort of humanity. I think those are those keep it simple, keep it real, I was told at drama school, which slightly went against the grain for me at that time. Those are my thoughts.
All right, my question, I guess, is we're all huge fans and incredibly geeky, obviously, about all of them. And I was just wondering if you folks in general are like have a book or a comic or movie or anything in particular that you're just like a super fan or fanatical about.
I kind of grew up thinking that Annie Hall was the end. I just thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I'm dressed like Diane Keaton and talked like Diane Keaton and was pretty geeky about that. And then when I met John, who's in the movie, that was sort of like, whoa. And I have, I have like a prints that sort of reference Annie Hall in my house. So I would say that that's probably the thing that I'm the most excited about. And I'm a musical theater geek too. You know, I love musical theater, so I'm pretty geeky about that as well. My sister's really into comics and really into like Doctor Who and things like that, and supernaturals. So I brought her with me to a convention that I did a couple of weeks ago, and she was wonderful, just telling me the ins and outs of everything and what it's all about. And, you know, she loves the cosplay and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm learning more and more about the world that exists in places like Dragoncon, and it seems like so much fun.
I'm a geek about Doris Day.
Can you give us a tune, John?
Just blew in from the Windy City. The Windy City is mighty pretty, but they ain't got what we got. No siree. Sing a few bars.
That was amazing. No, I do not sing. What am I geeking out about? I'm a huge horror movie fanatic. Blood and gore. Love The Shining. Huge Tim Burton fan. I love The Walking Dead. I really just gore. It's not very exciting. It's just like freaking weird.
It is. It's like I have to close my eyes in horror.
No.
Oh, I can't watch. Sweet and innocent.
I just wrapped my new show, and Bitten, and it's about werewolves. And every episode, I'm covered in blood. You know,
Really?
It's amazing. Yeah, I love it, and the action. So that's my thing.
it must be something that runs in the family, or maybe it's a blonde thing, but I'm a geek for horror films too, but the Hammer horror films from England in the 60s, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, The Devil Wears Out. But I do enjoy very much, more contemporary horror films where there's a strong sort of psychological or dramatic tension, atmosphere. I'm not so keen on sort of Fangoria, but things like Let the Right One In or The Others, I find very chilling and thrilling.
Don't get me wrong, it wasn't all blood and gore. The psychological stuff. Psychological as well.
I'm not doubting your intellect. We're both blonde.
Allison, for 10 seasons you played an unusually intelligent and tenacious character who was beautiful but not overtly objectified, and I just wondered if there's a lot of satisfaction in this kind of strong, uncompromising female role that we don't see enough of in the media.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's interesting. When I was 18, I did an interview with somebody who asked me if I could do something with my career, what would I do? And I said I wanted to redefine the way that women were perceived, specifically young women, in the media. And then it was amazing because I went on to do that with Smallville. And at the end of the season, or the end of the show, the 10th season, there was a group of women that raised money and started a not-for-profit organization in honor of my character, and put together a commercial that they bought airtime on during the season finale to air their show, or their commercial that promoted their not-for-profit and paid tribute to my character. And that's amazing. That's an awesome, awesome, awesome privilege to be able to do something like that. And it's interesting because I feel a bit spoiled. Because now scripts that I read have high standards, and I'm not interested in taking a step back with respect to a character of integrity and intellect. So I'm picky, and I think Chloe is a big reason why.
So what's the organization?
I can't remember.
She'll look it up and tweet it.
I will. I will.
Hello. This question is from Mr. John Glove. I wanted to know whether or not you liked playing a good Lionel or a bad Lionel better.
Well, there was one part when the writing went good and they tried to make Lionel good after he was in prison, which didn't work because it wasn't interesting. So I didn't like when they wrote him good, but what was nice was when they just wrote, and then it got confusing because, like I say, he was human, so he had good parts and bad parts. Does that make sense? Does it? Is that? So I liked him ambivalent. So you didn't know what he was doing. There were several people during the run of the show that would stop me on the street and say, I can't decide. Are you supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy? And that was the best compliment that I would get when I was playing Lionel. People were confused.